Stuart Wilde said that abundance is never a factor about how much money you actually have, but how you feel about the money that you do have. So what does he really mean by that? And this, by the way, is in the very first chapter of his book, The Trick to Money is Having Some, which I'm sure you probably would have heard of this book before. The Trick to Money is Having Some. And here's a picture of the author. I do remember hearing about Stuart Wilde many, many years ago when I was dating a lady who came from the same country that Stuart Wilde had come from, which was the UK. And she was mad about his teachings. And I'd first heard about him because there was a book that was around at that time before this particular one, and that was called Life Wasn't Meant to Be a Struggle. And that's also taken out of another quote as well. But what did Stuart Wilde really mean? Essentially, what he was quoting from here in the purpose of trying to get across this message, and he does try to clarify what money is. And stick with me, there's something that he says in this chapter that really is a standout for me, and I think it could be for you. Let me just read some of the opening paragraph lines here. Money is a thought form. It's a symbol of energy, and as such, it has no real intrinsic value. It is neither good nor bad, nor positive nor negative. It is impartial. The guy who wrote "Money is the root of all evil" just flat out didn't have any. You can't make it through the physical plane without it, and whereas sometimes the love of money can cause people to become evil and weird, it is a fact that without money you cannot be free. Poverty is a restriction, and as such, a general injustice that you can perpetrate upon yourself. And to read that quote again, which is saddled smack in the middle of the first page, abundance will never be a factor of how much money one has. Rather, it is always a factor of how one feels about what money one does have. Yet, when you look at nature, you see the abundance and flow that are naturally a part of our environment. It is hard to understand why people take up poverty as a way of life. It seems that in order to be poor, a person has to work so hard, it takes constant effort of the mind and avoid abundance and what life offers naturally. In the same way that joy is natural and God-given, so too is abundance. Everything else is a drag. Now, what he goes on to here when he actually talks about money here on the second page, I should say, and this is one thing that I want you to focus on very clearly, because he makes a very important point here that I feel is worthy of mention. And of course, he's talking about the book because, if you pick this up in a bookstore at the time, he wants you to actually buy the thing. But he says here, by the time you have reached the end of this book, I hope that you'll agree that the acquisition of money is not a serious business. It is a game that you play. At first, it may seem that the game that you play with forces outside of yourself, the economics, the marketplace, so to speak, but that as you proceed, you discover that it is actually a game that you play with yourself. A game that you play with yourself. How you play the game affects the quality of your life and determines the extent to which you can liberate yourself. So essentially, it's a game. Money is a game. You've probably heard, I go to work and they're just playing a game with me. Well, yes, they probably are playing a game with you. You go to a negotiation and you think, it's all a game, they're just wanting to do this. Well, in a game, do you want to win or do you want to lose? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So in playing a game, you've got to be excited about it and want to win that game. And the money game is ultimately up to yourself and your decision of how you impact upon it and take a part in the abundance that is there before you and say, yes, that abundance is there. That's rightfully mine as well. I have my share in it just the same as everyone else, and it's up to you to claim your share. You know, this is like going out into the gold fields and staking your claim, as they say. And each day you have that opportunity to play that game and play it for yourself and win. That's what you want to do. You want to have that winner attitude that you're there to win. Have a look more at what Stuart Wilde has to say, and thank you for also coming to view this channel. I've got more books that I'm going to be reviewing and looking at over a period of time, and hopefully by the time that I've uploaded this video, there will be another suggested video up here on the screen here, which will take you into other different ideas of money mindset and also attitudes to money and attitudes to attracting and creating wealth that you want in your life. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. This is David Newton speaking.